Jayo Gopi Jana Balava Jayo Givaradari Jayo Givaradari Jayo Gopi Jana Balava Jayo Givaradari Gopi Janna Balava Jayo Giri Varadari Jayo Giri Varadari Jayo Gopi Janna Balava Jayo Giri Varadari Jaya Givaradari Yasodhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, I'm just going to read the translation and purport and then go into the talk. That person has an impure mind who, despite having somehow or other automatically obtained the rare and high evolved human form of life, does not worship your lotus feet. Like an animal that has fallen into a blind well, such a person has fallen into the darkness of a material home. Report by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Our real home is in the kingdom of God, despite our tenacious determination to remain in our material home. Death will rudely eject us from the theater of material affairs. To stay at home is not bad, nor is it bad to devote ourselves to our loved ones. But we must understand that our real home is eternal in the spiritual kingdom. The word Atyanatahav indicates that human life has been automatically awarded to us. We have not constructed our human bodies, and therefore we should not foolishly claim, "This body is mine." The human form is a gift of God and should be used to achieve the perfection of God consciousness. One who does not understand this, asamati, possessed of dull, mundane understanding. That's interesting. So, alright, well, my name is Druva, and into ISKCON, and luckily because of Srila Prabhupada, well, I know Srila Prabhupada and Nrsingadev because my father and mother are Srila Prabhupada disciples. So from a very young age, we were taught about Nrsingadev and Prahlad Maharaj's teachings. So Prahlad Maharaj speaks similar about this beautiful process. And Prahlad Maharaj, from very young age, I was at least understood the philosophy of Prahlad Maharaj's teachings. Being very balanced, not on the left side and not on the right side. So not fanatic and not lazy. In the gray, balanced. Like you see in the translation, it says, someone automatically attained the human form of life, which is very rare and evolved. If they do not worship your lotus feet, like an animal that has fallen into a blind well, such a person has fallen into the dark. Srila Prabhupada says, our real home is in the kingdom of Godhead, despite our tenacious determination to remain in the material home. Death will rudely eject us. But then, being a devotee, he says, to stay at home is not bad. So saying it's bad is fanatic. Nor is it bad to devote ourselves to our loved ones. So this is very important. But we must understand that our real home is eternal in the spiritual kingdom. So Prahlad was so amazing. He was such a young boy, right? Almost 6 years old. And he had this knowledge of the importance of human form of life. Durlabha manusam janma. We shouldn't. Is the feedback necessary? What is that?
Feedback.
No, the sound, the buzzing.
Orange.
It's interesting. It's okay. So, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you again. Hare Krishna. So, Prahlad Maharaj was such an evolved human being, right? So his teachings were extremely essential for us as devotees. And when I was very young, I was, as second generation, because we were put into the Gurukula at a very young age, 4 years old. All of us had the most love for Narasimha. Radha Krishna was also there, Gornitai, but it was always Nrsimhadev because we related to him because we were children. So it's very relatable. You can't relate so much with Krishna because he's having fun with the coward boys and coward girls, and he's very busy, and Krishna says himself, I'm not your friend, I'm not your enemy. I need you, I don't need you. He's very detached. But Narasimha, who is the incarnation of Krishna, who is non-different, who is Krishna, he came and protected the child, his son, Prahlad. This is extremely personal. So it's much more relatable, because in the human form of life, we're very personal creatures. We want to have personal relationships with our friends, our family, our loved ones. So as Nrsingadev is extremely personal. So as we were young children, we gravitated towards this experience, Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsingadev's pastime. And when I was very young, I was gifted a small deity of Nrsingadev, which apparently was worshipped by Srila Prabhupada and given to my father and another sannyasi, and they gave to me. And they said, this is your real father. Nrsingadev is represented as our father, not as Nrsimha, some untouchable God, the personality of God. This is a false understanding. If you read the story, you can see how personal he was. And so I identified very much with this as a child. And then in our temple, they installed a gigantic deity of Nrsimhadev, like almost 3 meters tall. You know? And as a young child, when they were doing the installation, all the sannyasis of ISKCON were there, all the Prabhupada disciples. I think there was 1,000 something. And the deity was being brought into the temple for the first time. Huge deity. And all the strong men were carrying the deity because they had to install him. And everybody was crying. They were doing kirtan, you know. Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev. Everybody's dancing. All the ladies were crying. All the men were crying. He's coming, finally, Narasimhadev. Because Prabhupada wanted this. He wanted every single temple to have a Narasimhadev deity, not a small one, a huge one. And in this place, New Vrindavan, they have a huge one. And this is what he wanted. So that we can establish this relationship with our Father, who also helps remove our anarthas. And the biggest anarthas we face is envy, jealousy, and pride. Pride is very bad. We always think we're right. I am right, you are wrong. My decision is the perfect one, yours is not. And then envy and jealousy this is plaguing our ISKCON very much these days. I travel all around the world. I see these three diseases: envy, jealousy, and pride. And everyone's worshipping Radha Krishna. Oh, I'm so close. No, you're not close. Not if you have these three anarthas. That's why Srila Prabhupada established the Nrsimha prayers. Every single kirtan we lead, normally we do Guru Puja only once, in the morning. Mangalarti once. But after every single one, we have to chant the Nrsimha prayers. Noon Arti Nrsimha prayers, 4:30 Nrsimha prayers, 6:30 Nrsimha prayers. The last evening arti is supposed to be Nrsimha prayers if you follow Srila Prabhupada's standard. But no other artiks do we repeat. But we repeat Nrsimha 3 to 5 times in the day, sometimes even more, because of the essence of what he does for us as devotees. So when the deity was coming into our temple, thousands of devotees were crying and screaming in ecstasy. I always remember because I was very small. And the kirtan was going insane. You know, all the sannyasis were there, you know, dancing. Nrsimha, Nrsimha, like a football match when people are screaming, my team, you know. And it was incredible. And they put him on the altar, and he was like rocking back and forth. Because I was, you know, growing up in ISKCON, I was lucky I was able to do this puja to him. And there was a deity of Prahlad. I was the same size as this deity. And when we were young, we would dress the deity for Mangalarti. When we were so small, we would have to climb on the deity, just like how Prahlad Maharaj sat on Nrsimhadev's lap. It was very relatable for us, this fatherly connection. And a lot of us in the movement, we have a problem with our parents. Either they reject us because we become devotees, or we don't have fathers, or some problems with fatherly. So Nrsimhadev is our father. Prahlad Maharaj referred to him as being the father, the divine father. So it's very important to have this in our life. So just like Srila Prabhupada said, it's not bad to stay at home, nor is it bad to devote ourselves to our loved ones. Prahlad Maharaj also said the same thing to the kids. Right? This morning I'm just giving a class. In the evening I'll be doing like a slideshow of all my adventures. So make sure you come to that. But the morning class I stick to more the philosophy. Even though sometimes people they fall asleep during class. There's too much philosophy. So the Prahlad said the same thing to his friends. What did he say? He said, and now you have his Nrsimha deity. But this is his, right? Yeah, he's going to take home eventually. Amazing. Yeah, I had like a dream that you had a big Nrsimha deity here. Huge one. Like life-size. You know. But I couldn't sleep last night much at all. Maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. But when I slept, I had this dream, big Nrsimha deity, black stone. It was interesting. So Prahlad went to his friends in school, and he said, listen, guys, it's fun to enjoy, to play games, to do all this stuff, but really you should give your life to God. But most of the kids, they didn't want to. They said, no, we want to enjoy our life. But Prahlad didn't get mad, and he didn't judge them, right? He wasn't fanatic. He said, you're in Maya. He never said, you're in Maya, you're such a bad person. He said, okay, no problem. Enjoy your life, do your school, but offer everything to God, all the results. And don't forget that you have all these good things because of Him. Right? Narayana iti. Everything comes from Him, everything is for Him. Don't forget this. He didn't say, oh, rascal, you're Maya. He was so unegotistical and unjudgmental. And his nature, you can see why God appeared for him, because of his kindness and his compassion to humans in their suffering condition. Being so attached, it's very difficult to let go. And one thing I noticed after I grew a bit older in my teenage years, when I found out about Narasimha's temples, because in ISKCON they always focus mainly on Radha Krishna, Gornitai. It's actually quite immature, because you cannot worship them without worshipping Narasimha. If you're not free from anarthas, Prabhupada says, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all of our acharyas say, you cannot truly get to Radha Krishna. It's impossible. You're filled with anarthas. So Narasimha removes those anarthas, just like he removed the anarthas from Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu only had a few anarthas. He was actually extremely pious. He was very dharmic. After he conquered the universe, he established his dharma as a king. And he gave in charity, he did pujas, he worshipped the earth. But he hated God. He had envy and jealousy towards Prahlad, because Prahlad worshipped his enemy, Narayan. And then Hiranyakashipu was so proud he couldn't see that. He was so proud. Imagine, you're so blinded by pride, you want to kill your own child. Just because your child doesn't think like you say, now you must die. This is pride. In Hindi they say abhiman, or Sanskrit, abhiman. You cannot convince these people. They're so ignorant. But Prahlad didn't get angry. He still said, my dearest, powerful Father, I love you. You're my Father. Whatever you say is, I believe. But you cannot change my view of worshipping my Lord. This infuriated Hiranyakashipu. So Narasimha removed those. When he killed him, it's not just some act that's like a movie. We can make a movie, oh, it's so cool, he killed this demon. No, Hiranyakashipu wasn't a demon. He was a very exalted human being, who unfortunately, because of what happened, his brother got killed by God, and he hated God. Same with Kamsa. Kamsa was not a bad, evil demon. No, he was still a devotee, but he was extremely covered by Maya and the envy, jealousy, and pride. So the form of, it says in the Upanishads and the Vedas, the form of Narasimhadev, when he was ripping Hiranyakashipu apart, he freed him from envy, jealousy, and pride. Remove this from him. And this is what we need in our lives, to remove this. As trying to be a devotee, mostly our pride is, oh, I'm so special. I got up from Mangalartik, I'm better than everyone. I chanted my 16 rounds, I'm better than anyone. I do puja to the deity, I'm so special. This is pride, abhiman. Prahlad talks about this. Fake renunciation, fake